In the heart of Africa, where ancient landscapes meet the dawn of innovation, something extraordinary is happening. A bridge, but not built by hands or heavy machines. No, this was printed, layer by layer, piece by piece. A marvel that defies gravity and redefines what's possible. While the world races towards smart cities, flying taxis, and space tourism, Africa has taken a bold, unexpected leap of its own, not in the sky, but just beneath it. This isn't just a bridge. It's a statement, a challenge to global expectations. And it was built with a printer. Welcome to the future of infrastructure, where concrete meets code and imagination becomes reality. This is Africa's first 3D printed bridge, a structural feat that merges engineering genius with technological audacity. But how does a continent often underestimated by the global tech elite become a pioneer in cutting-edge construction? It started with one question. What if Africa could leapfrog traditional infrastructure, just like it did with mobile banking? In places where steel is expensive, labor costs are high, and time is always against the clock, 3D printing offers a powerful solution. Minimal waste, rapid construction, unmatched precision. This bridge isn't just a connection between 2 points. It's a bridge between what the world expects of us and what we're actually capable of. The bridge spans 28 meters, printed in less than 10 days, using an eco-friendly concrete mix developed locally. It's not just functional, it's beautiful, fluid, organic, a structure inspired by nature, yet born of machines. Compared to traditional methods, this 3D printed marble used 60% less material, emitted less CO2, and cost 40% less to build. It's a glimpse into a future where infrastructure doesn't just rise, it evolves. And this is just the beginning. Cities in Kenya, Rwanda, Nigeria, and South Africa are now exploring 3D printed housing hospitals, even schools, all at a fraction of the time and cost. In a world that often looks to Silicon Valley, China, or Europe for innovation, Africa just reminded everyone. The future can rise from anywhere, especially when bold vision meets the right tools. But what's perhaps even more powerful than the technology is the people. This bridge wasn't flown in. It wasn't outsourced. It was built by Africans, trained in digital modeling, robotics, and AI-driven architecture, reshaping not just a skyline, but the skill set of a generation. In classrooms once lacking basic supplies, students now code algorithms that instruct machines to build roads and bridges. In communities once overlooked, the seeds of a technological renaissance are taking root. This is more than a bridge project. It's proof that Africa isn't waiting to catch up. It's choosing to lead on its own terms. The implications are seismic. Remote regions once cut off by terrain or costs can now be connected in days instead of months. Trade can flow. Students can travel. Farmers can reach markets. All through structures born not of concrete pours, but code, robotics, and innovation. And beyond infrastructure, the ripple effects touch every sector. Education, healthcare, tourism, and climate resilience. 3D printing allows Africa to design its own reality, to build not copies of the West, but ecosystems tailored to Africa's future. It's poetic, really. Bridges are meant to connect, and this one connects more than two sides of a river. It connects past to future, tradition to technology, a continent to its infinite potential. So the next time someone questions whether Africa can compete in the global tech race, point them here, to this bridge, this symbol, this masterpiece, printed not just in concrete, but encourage creativity and the unstoppable spirit of a rising Africa. They said it couldn't be done. Africa didn't just prove them wrong, it printed a new future. The shock waves didn't stay on the continent. From Tokyo to Silicon Valley, headlines erupted. Africa prints the future. A new engineering power emerges, and why the West should be paying attention. Suddenly, African innovation wasn't just a footnote in the global conversation. It was a conversation. Universities across Kenya, Ghana, Nigeria, and Ethiopia are now establishing entire programs around additive manufacturing, structural robotics, and parametric design, developing an ecosystem where students don't just learn about bridges. They build them, and not in decades, but in days. And it's not limited to bridges. This same technology is being adapted to print disaster relief shelters, rural health clinics, and sustainable housing in regions where traditional methods have failed for generations. In northern Namibia, 3D printed homes are rising for climate refugees, made with local sand-based composites, designed to withstand extreme heat and powered entirely by solar energy. A solution made for Africa, by Africa, using the sun and a printer, and the world has taken notice. International investors are pouring millions into African 3D printing startups, while Chinese, European, and Gulf tech giants seek joint ventures. But this time it's different. Africa is not just participating, it's negotiating on equal footing. From the hills of Kigali to the shores of Dakar, a new narrative is being written, one where Africa isn't waiting to inherit the future. It's printing it, building it, and owning it. And at the center of it all, still standing, is that bridge, a symbol, a spark, proof that even the most gravity-defying dreams can stand tall as long as you're bold enough to build them. This is not the end. This is the blueprint for a new era. Africa is not just connecting land, it's connecting ideas, people, and possibilities. If Africa can print a bridge that defies gravity, what's stopping it from reshaping the world? Across oceans and continents, something shifts. The global powers that once dominated the conversation on infrastructure innovation are no longer just watching. They're reacting, fast. In China, tech giants and state-backed engineering firms are reassessing Africa, not as a passive market, but as a peer innovator. Meanwhile, in Europe, think tanks debate, did we just underestimate the next engineering superpower? The West races to recalibrate. Tech delegations are dispatched. Partnerships are proposed. But Africa, calm, focused, and unapologetically ambitious, is already building the next layer. Kenya unveils Makazi 1, the continent's first 3D printed smart district, powered by renewable energy, built with AI-optimized blueprints. Homes, roads, schools, and public spaces, all printed in record time, and all managed through blockchain-based smart infrastructure. It's no longer about catching up. It's about leapfrogging every outdated model, bypassing bureaucracy, pollution-heavy industry, and unaffordable housing. We're not just building for today. We're building for what Africa will look like in 2050, when our population doubles, our cities expand, and our youth lead the world in innovation. Governments are now racing to establish 3D printing hubs, offering tax incentives and research grants to homegrown startups. And while the West debates policy, Africa is printing tomorrow's cities today. Imagine a city where buildings adapt to weather, power grid self-balance, and roads are printed to redirect flooding. That's not science fiction. That's Kigali's next project. And it's backed by both local minds and global admiration. Not everyone is cheering. Some see Africa's rise as a threat to global dominance, to resource control, to old narratives. As Africa prints its future, others scramble to preserve their past. And beneath the surface, the pushback begins. Attempts to patent open-source African designs, bids to control rarer supply chains, even efforts to replicate African success stories without giving credit. We're not asking for permission. We're building because we must. We innovate not for applause, but for survival. And that makes our innovation unstoppable. This is no longer just about a bridge. It's about rewriting the rules of global development, about a continent that dares not only to dream, but to design, engineer, and print its dreams into reality. The bridge still stands, but now it stands for so much more. It's no longer just a marvel of architecture. It's the cornerstone of a revolution. And so, the story that began with a single bridge, a printed span defying gravity, becomes something far greater, a movement, a model, a message. Across the continent, young minds are now seeing their future not as something inherited, but designed by them, for them, empowered not by charity, but by technology, creativity, and pride. In every printed wall, every curved beam, every solar-powered roof, Africa sends a clear signal to the world. We are not waiting to be invited into the future. We are building it ourselves. And the impact doesn't stop at Africa's borders. Countries in South America, Southeast Asia, and the Caribbean are now turning to African engineers for guidance, reversing the centuries-old flow of expertise. One bridge, infinite possibilities, proof that even the boldest dreams can be printed into reality, and that sometimes the future doesn't arrive from above. Sometimes it rises from the ground, layer by layer, right where it's least expected and most needed.